all of you. I am Neha Jain, honored to be the program coordinator for the 10-day international training program and faculty development program on advanced tools and techniques for research methodology. Today signifies the ninth day of our session centered around the theme of writing a research paper or report and understanding impact factor and publication facets. Meticulously organized by the World Innovators University Research Foundation of India and RFI-CARE. The program is sponsored by JHERF, World Virtual Conference Forum, World Federation of Science and Technology, International Research Guide Federation, Academic Research Guide Association, Edu Academic Incorporation. With great pleasure, we welcome Dr. Moshmi Datta ma'am, whose presence promises to elevate our understanding in today's session. We welcome you, ma'am. So, before moving ahead, let us take a moment to acquaint ourselves with the remarkable profile of ma'am, whose expertise and insights are poised to enrich our collective learning experience. She holds an MSc in Geography, a set qualification, and completed her PhD in Geography. She later pursued an MBA and earned a PhD in Management. She serves as a PhD guide in Geography at the University of Mumbai and is currently employed as a principal at Nagindas Khandwala College, Autonomous in Mumbai. With 27 years of teaching experience, she possesses technical expertise in educational technology, remote sensing, GIS, and GPS. Her scholarly contributions include the publication of 90 papers with ISSN and 49, ISBN 42, co-editing 8 books and authoring 2 reference books and 8 textbooks. She has supervised 2 PhDs in geography and management respectively, with 4 ongoing. Her research endeavors include involvement in minor and major research projects sponsored by UGC, ICSSR, Impress, University of Mumbai, Maharashtra State Commission of Women, and industry consultancy projects. She has secured 3 patents received in April 2022. Internationally, she has presented papers at esteemed institutions such as Middlesex University, UK, Pennsylvania University, USA, Princeton University, USA, Bangkok University, Delaware University, USA, and has been part of panels visiting various universities in the USA. As an organizer, she has led over 30 conferences, workshops, and training programs at national, international, and state levels. She has held various administrative roles, including coordinator of IQAC since 2009, convener of the attendance committee, coordinator of UGC add-on courses, and management representative for ISO. She is a life member of 7 national professional bodies and an annual member of 1 international body. Her contributions have been recognized through awards such as the Best Ensemble Faculty Award, Best Research Award by EET, Award of Contribution in Research by Indus Foundation USA, Nation Building Award by Rotary Club, the Real Superwoman Award by Forever Star India Award, and the Excellent IQAC Coordinator by Thakur Awards. So, as we eagerly anticipate the wisdom and guidance of our schedule expert, let us embark on today's session with enthusiasm and firm dedication. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Neha Madam, for that elaborate introduction of mine. And thank you, Research Foundation of India, for inviting me for this talk. So I will be starting my talk by sharing up my presentation. Thank you very much. My screen is visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Yeah. So the topic of today is writing a research paper and understanding the impact factor and the publication facets. Generally, when we write a research paper, we have to, uh, uh, doing a research is not only collection of data, but after collection of data, after fulfilling all the formalities, you have to present it very properly. So, for presentation of a research paper, we have to follow certain rules, and there are 10 rules of writing a research paper, that what should be coming one after the other. Generally, the first thing which we should be knowing is a paper title and the abstract. We start with the research paper with the introduction, problem statement, research objectives and hypothesis, a review of literature, a research methodology, innovativeness, implications and relevance of the paper, conclusion, and reference and plagiarism. Let us understand all these one by one. Now, actually speaking, selecting a research title, or selecting the title of your research paper is always the most it is the most difficult job, because when somebody is reading your title, he or she does not know what is there in your paper. So you have to make such a title which is brief, which is clear, and at the same time very, very meaningful. There are certain rules which we need to remember when we sit down to decide the title of our research paper. It is that we should not have very long research titles. It should be maximum of 15 words, maximum of 15 words. Now, the title of the research paper should be so meaningful, it should be so clear, that we often say that it is the mini abstract. By looking at the title only, the others can easily get an idea about your research paper. What is your research paper about? Okay, and at the same time, you have to remember that the research paper title should be very, very easy to remember. It should not be very, very complex. When you give a complex research title of your research paper, maybe you will understand, but others will not understand. So we have to remember that you have to give a very, very easy to remember a title, but at the same time it should not be it should be easy, and at the same time it should be meaningful as well. You have to remember, this is something which is read the most. So I can say three things you have to remember when about your research paper. First thing is that it is a first impression, because when somebody else reads your research paper, the title is something which is read first. So it is a first impression. It reflects the contents. By looking at the title only, you can understand what your research paper is all about. And at the same time, it should be attention grabber. Now, my friends, when it is your research paper, you will read it, definitely. When it is my research paper, I will read it. But I should make sure that my research paper is read by others as well. So always spend time in the title of the research paper. Very, very important. It should be very, very well selected, because that is the first impression. Let us see to some examples of some titles of the research paper. Take, for example, I select a title like Impact of Climate Change on Biodiversity. See, I've selected such a title which which exactly tells me what is my research paper about. My research paper is about climate change and its impact on biodiversity. I've selected such a title which is not very long. I've selected such a title which is very, very easy to remember, which is very, very, easy to remember, and which is very, very clear. So always choose a title which is clear, which is easy to remember, and which has got, by looking at the title only, people will understand what are you dealing with in your research paper. Take, for example, the effects of social media on mental health, the role of education in reducing poverty. Very, very straight and simple. Research is something which is very, very simple. Only you have to get the right essence of it. You unnecessarily don't make your research very complex. Put everything, but don't make your research very complex. Similarly, the title of the research paper should be very, very simple. So what did we learn? What did we learn? Sometimes, some papers, this ones are too generic, over descriptive. If you write everything in your in your title, what are you going to write in your abstract? What are you going to write in your research papers? Sometimes you will find the research paper titles are having many fancy words. It is it is a wrong way. Sometimes it is very long. Sometimes in the research title only, there are spelling mistakes, there are formatting mistakes. Okay. And generally, although when I'm talking also, I'm talking about research paper title the first, but actually it should not be decided at the first. After writing the research paper, then at the last you should finalize the research title. And it should not be very, very complex. Don't use abbreviations. So main three things you remember whenever you are selecting a research paper title: it should be clear, it should be easy, it should be meaningful, and it should not be more than 15 words. I think, friends, all of you have understood about the general concepts of selecting a research paper title. Yes or no? If someone can unmute, please.
Yes, ma'am. Understood.
Yes, yes. Now, a research paper generally starts with an abstract. There is a rule of number of words in the abstract. Generally, it is 10% of the total research paper. If your research paper is of 2,000 words, then your abstract should be of 200 words. Your abstract should contain a little bit of introduction, the objectives of research paper. Every research paper has some objectives. Every research paper deals with some problems. If you do not have a problem, there is no research at all. You have a problem and you find out a solution. You have an objective and you find the solution to those objectives. So, objectives. Number 3 is a research methodology. What research methodology have you taken up in your research paper? And number 4 is the conclusion. These 4 things should be there in the abstract. So you can very well understand, when we are writing these 4 things, I need my paper in front of me. I need my research paper to be completed. In many of the conferences, you will hear that they will say, send the abstract, send the research paper later on. It doesn't happen like that. Research paper, unless and until you complete your research paper, your abstract you can never write. So abstract should contain 4 things: introduction, objectives, research methodology, and conclusion. Your abstract should always be 10% of your research paper. Yeah, then at the end of the abstract, you write down 4 keywords. So, my friends, before starting a research paper, we have started with the paper title and the abstract. Now, as you start the research paper, your first thing that comes is your introduction. So what should be there in the introduction? Background of the study. Whatever your research is about, background of the study. It should be made interesting, because you are preparing the readers for the journey of research. You are preparing your readers so that they can read your research paper. So it tells you about the background of the study. As I said, your research paper means you're dealing with some problem. Unless and until there is a problem, there is no research about. So problem statement is your next one. So after writing the introduction in your research paper, write down the problem statement, what problem you are dealing with. Take, for example, my research paper is the impact of climate change. Impact of climate change on biodiversity. So my problem is climate change. My problem is the impact of climate change on the biodiversity. So write a small paragraph about the problem statement. This will make your research paper more and more interesting. See, my friends, if your research paper of 2000 words, you cannot write pages after pages, but write a small paragraph. This will tell the readers, the other person will know that you exactly know how to do a research when you're following this point. Problem statement is compulsorily has to be written in any research paper. It is the most excellent section of the proposal. After writing the problem statement, from the problem statement, you write the research objectives. Research objectives has to be very, very logical. Research objectives neither has to be too less or too many. It does not, the sentences may not be too big or too small. Okay. Now take, for example, my problem is, or my research paper title is Perception of Youth Towards Climate Change in an Urban Space. So from that, I will write down the objectives. Number one objective is to understand the level of knowledge of the climate change among the youth. Number two objective, to analyze their contribution. So like this, you make the objectives. So after writing the problem statement, write down your research objectives. After writing the research objectives, write down about the hypothesis. If you have developed any hypothesis, write down in the hypothesis. If you have taken up hypothesis, it is not a compulsory element, but generally we take up hypothesis. When you take up hypothesis, you have to write the hypothesis in two ways: null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. At the end of the research paper, you either accept null hypothesis and reject alternate, or the vice versa. So please write the hypothesis as H0 and H1. So how did we start the research paper? We started the research paper, we wrote the introduction. After introduction, we wrote the problem statement. After writing the problem statement, we have written the research objectives. What is the objective of the research paper? Then if you have taken up any hypothesis, you have written the hypothesis. Then comes review of literature. Friends, review of literature is a very, very important part of any research paper, because in a review of literature, you try to find out. Now, it is not always that whenever you are doing a research paper, whenever you're writing a research paper, that others have not studied. Others must have studied, but maybe they've studied in different areas, or they've studied in different ways. So you have to find not studied, you are studying. What has already been studied, that there is no point in studying that. So review of literature is very, very important, because in review of literature, you try to find out the gap in the research. Take, for example, I am doing research in traffic problem in Mumbai. I try to find out how many people have studied about traffic problem in Mumbai. I do literature review. I go to the library, or I visit e-libraries, and then I find out that there are many social scientists who have worked about traffic problems in Delhi. There are many social scientists who have worked about traffic problems in Indore, but there are very few studies are there about traffic problem in Mumbai. So that is the gap. You have to prove it, that traffic problem in Mumbai, very less people have studied, and hence I am studying it. So review of literature is very, very important part of your research. So friends, how did I start with? Number one is my introduction. Number two is the problem you're dealing with. Number three, you write down the objectives. Along with the objectives, you write down you along with the objectives, you write down the hypothesis. That's the hypothesis. Then you write the review of literature. After writing the review of literature, you have to write down the research methodology. What type of methodology you are following? Now, methodology generally takes care of four things. Coverage, which area you are covering, which is the area covered in your survey. Suppose you have done a survey, which is the area which is covered in a survey. What is the data source? From where did you get the secondary data? How did you collect the data collection? From where did you collected the data? From details of the primary data. And then data analysis. How did you do the data analysis? Which software did you use in data analysis? Or you have not used any software, you have only used Excel. So all these things you have to write: coverage, data sources, data collection, and data analysis. Data analysis. Take for example, see, this is your study area. Suppose I am studying in Mumbai. This is the study area. I have given the map of Mumbai to show that this is the study area. So all this makes your research paper much more vibrant. They make it much more clearer. Data sources. From where did you get the secondary data? From where you're getting the primary data? Then after, if you're doing a primary data, write down how will you collect the primary data? Whether it will be a questionnaire. If it is a questionnaire, then whether it will be an open-ended question or a close-ended question, or it will be a mixed question. If it is a case study, whether it is a long case study or a short case study, what are you trying to do? If it is interview, how you'll do the interview, whether it is face-to-face interview, whether it is telephonic interview, what type of interviews you are trying to take. So this research methodology has to be written properly. After research methodology, 2 lines you have to write about innovativeness of your research. Every research paper has got something new. Take, for example, as I said, that there are people who have studied about traffic problems in Delhi, traffic problems in Indore, but people have not studied about traffic problem in Mumbai. So that is something new, and I am studying about traffic problem in Mumbai. So only 2 lines you write about how your research paper is new. What is the innovativeness in your research paper? What innovation you have brought where others have not brought? These are new concepts in the research paper which are to be brought in. After writing the innovativeness, you have to write that how your research paper, what implication does your research paper have in the society? No one does research only to keep it in the cupboard. You do your research for 2 purposes. Either you do your research so that you can help the society, or you do your research so that you can help the government in policymakers. So you have to write 2 lines at least at how your research paper is helpful, how your research paper is helpful to the society, how your research paper is helpful to the policy makers. This is very, very important. After doing everything, then you will write about the major findings. In conclusion, you will write about the major findings. You have done the objectives, you have the research methodology, and then you will write the major findings, and then you will write the recommendation. After writing the recommendation, you will write the references. References are to be written very, very well. References, either you have to take up APA style, or you have to take up MLA style, or you have to take up Chicago style, whatever style you take up. Choose a perfect style and write down the references. After writing the references, give your paper for plagiarism check. Now it has become compulsory that all your research papers should be 10% and below. If the college where you're working does not have a plagiarism software, in that case, you can always approach us. You can always approach your university. Your university will have a plagiarism software, and please get your plagiarism checked, because it has to be 10% and below. So friends, whenever you are writing a research paper, what are the steps? Paper title, which has to be decided later on, because you write the paper and then you decide the paper title. Abstract, the 4 things which you have to write. When you start the research paper, number 1 is your introduction. Number 2 is the problem statement. Number 3 is the research objectives and the hypothesis. Next is the review of literature. Next is the research methodology. Next is the innovativeness, how your research paper is new. Next is your implication and relevance of the paper. Next is your conclusion. And last is the reference and plagiarism. Friends, just unmute yourself and tell me whether you have understood the key sections of a research paper or not.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions here?
Ma'am, I wanted to ask one question.
Bolo.
I just wanted to know about the review of literature. How many examples we need to put in the review of literature, like 2, 3, where we are finding the gaps?
No. Yeah, for finding the gaps, I think minimum 10 research review of literature should be done. Minimum 10.
Okay.
Minimum 10 should be done. And because in a research paper, more than 10, you will not have that number of words limited with you, you know. So
Right,
you
ma'am.
do 10, and within that 10, you try to identify the gap.
Okay, fine, ma'am. And then all 10 should be put up in the paper also with the reference.
Yeah, it has to be cited, otherwise it will come in plagiarism.
Right. Fine, ma'am. Fine. Thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah.
Any more questions? Then I will go to the next section of impact factor.
Ma'am,
Yes.
could you please focus on the problem statement part? Like, how do we write the problem statement, and how does it differ from research objectives?
No. See. A problem statement is in a paragraph. That this is the problem. The problem is climate change, and due to climate change, there is an impact on biodiversity. This is the problem. And what is the research objective? 1, 2, 3 karke you write down the research objective. Number 1, to identify the climate change in this area. Number 2, to find out the effect of climate change on the biodiversity. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Problem statement is just in a descriptive form, and research objective is always in a point form.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Any more questions?
No, ma'am. Ma'am, then problem statement can be the aim.
Yeah. It can be the aim.
similar?
Yeah, it can be the aim. Yeah. But generally nowadays we use the word as problem statement.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. দেখো ওখানে কত ময়লা না ওটা ওই দিকে ওই দিকে এটা সরাও এইগুলো সরাও হ্যাঁ দেখো Sorry, start a bit. Yes. Whenever you're writing a research paper, remember to take care of the language and the grammar. And if nothing is mentioned about formatting, use Times New Roman. The font size should be 12 for the body and 14 for the heading, and the line spacing should be 1.5. This way, generally, we organize our research paper. Now, when we have made a research paper, when we are giving it for your publication, we often are concerned about the impact factor. So we should know how this impact factor calculation is done. We should know how this impact factor calculations are done. Now, I will just give you one example to show you that how these calculations are done. Now, take for example, there is a journal. The name of the journal is Commerce Journal. There is a journal. The name of the journal is Commerce Journal. Now, this Commerce Journal, we want to find out. We want to find out the impact factor of the Commerce Journal for the year 2007. Now, generally, to calculate the impact factor of 2007, I will require data of previous 2 years. That means 2006 and 2005. For very high profile journals like Harvard journals and all, 5 years data is taken, but generally 2 years data is taken. So I will show you by calculating 2 years data. So I will need data of 2 years, 2006 and 2005. Everyone understood? Everyone understood this? Yes or no?
Ma'am, if you could just still elaborate, still not got the clarity, ma'am.
No. I have to calculate the impact factor of 2007 of a journal called Commerce Journal. Every year, the impact factor changes. So I am calculating. I have not started calculating. I am calculating of year 2007. For the year 2007, I will need the data of previous 2 years. Which are the previous 2 years? You tell me.
5 and 6, 2005.
2005 and 2006. This much you understood?
Yes,
this much you yeah. Now, of what will I do? I will find out how many papers were published in 2005, how many papers were published in 2006. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I will again try to find out how many times the papers were cited in 2005, how many times the papers were cited in 2006. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
okay. Now you see. First sentence. Citations of articles published in Commerce Journal in 2005 were 115. That means the articles which were published in 2015 were cited how many times? Were cited 115 times. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, in 2006, how many times it was cited? Tell me.
86.
86. So now I will do total citation. What will be the total citation? 115 plus 86. How many it is?
201.
Did you understand till here?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Now, how many articles were published in 2005? 12.
12.
So actually speaking, these 12 articles were cited 115 times. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
How many articles were published in 2006? 9.
9.
9. Yes, this data I got. So 9, how many times it was cited? 86 times. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the total number of articles published? 12 plus 9, 21?
21. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So how will I calculate the impact factor of 2007? 201 total citation divided by total number of articles 21, 9.571. So in 2007, the journal named Commerce Journal had the impact factor of 9.571. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Got it, ma'am. Yes,
Got
ma'am.
it? In this way, every year. So this impact factor keeps on changing. Why? Number of articles keeps on changing. Suppose you want to calculate of 2008. So which 2-year data will you take?
Sorry, ma'am.
If you want
2006 and 7.
2006.
6 and
Yes.
7. So
Yes.
number of articles will also change. Number of articles cited will also change. That is why every year citation keeps on changing.
Yes.
The impact factor keeps on changing. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh?
Yes,
Everyone?
yes.
Yes. Anyone wants to say anything?
No, fine, ma'am. Understood, ma'am. Thank you so much for explaining it there.
Now see, nowadays we have a new concept, H index and I-10 index. Everyone has heard of H index and I-10 index. Yes or no? Have you heard of this?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Now I will tell you how it is calculated. Do you know how it is? Now from Google, you know how it is calculated? Now take for example, you have how many papers? 12 papers. You have how many papers? 12 papers. Okay. Now 12 papers, you find out every paper ka how many times citations are done. Clear? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Now, take for example, see, you have publication 1. One publication is cited 26 times. 2 publication is cited 12 times. 3 publication is cited 6 times. You have all this. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes or no? Now, you will put it into rank. You will put it into rank. You will write rank 1 to 12. Okay. So, which one is the highest citation?
29.
29. Which number publication is that?
6 number.
Yes. So see, rank 1 citation is 29. Publication number is 6.
Yes, ma'am.
Understood? Which is the second one?
26. Publication number 1.
Publication 1, 26.
26. না তুমি ওয়াশবার পরে না মোছাটা খারাপ হয়ে গেছে তোমার, ভালো করে মোছো। 26. 26. And what is the publication? Which number publication is that?
1 number.
Now লাগায়। ও তো হবেই না। Now what is the next one? 15. So write that I have put the rank. So write that I have put the rank. 1 to 12 I have put the rank. Citation I have written and publication numbers I have written. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear? Now you see,
Yes, ma'am.
you tell me till where citation is more than the rank. Citation is more till where citation is more than the rank.
Till 8th column.
Till
8th row.
8th column. Till 8th column, citation is more than the rank. When I'm going to the 9th one, citation is lesser than the rank. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes.
H index is 8. This is the formula. Did you get it?
Okay.
Okay. Now you tell me till where the citation is more than 10.
7.
7. So your I-10 index is 7.
Okay.
2 things you have to do. First of all, according to citation, rank your papers. Okay. Then you find out till where the citation is more than the rank. That becomes your H index. Then till where the citation is more than 10, that rank becomes your I-10 index. See it again. Did you follow?
Yes, ma'am.
Every one of you?
Ma'am, could you please repeat for I-10 index?
I-10 index till where it is more than 10. Till where it is more than 10. Till rank
In
7.
case of I-10, there is nothing to do with the rank, right?
No,
I mean, it should not be more than
definitely.
that.
No, definitely is doing with the rank, because that rank only is becoming your I-10 index, no? Till 7th rank, it is more than 10, no?
Yes, 7th rank.
So 7 is your I-10 index.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So these you can get it through Google Scholar also. But as a researcher, you should know how are they calculated. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am. Very much important.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So today we have learned how to write a research paper. We have got an idea about what is a citation index, how is the impact factor calculated. We have got the idea about how the I-10 index is calculated and H index is calculated. I wish good luck for the preparation of your research paper. Thank you very much. Any question?
Participants, if you have any queries, please go ahead.
हाँ मैडम, मैं ये क्वेश्चन पूछ सकता है? मेरा नाम शौकत फकीर अहमद नगर महाराष्ट्र से बोल रहा हूँ मैं।
Yes.
मुझे ये पूछना है, यूजीसी पेयर लिस्टेड जर्नल एंड यूजीसी केयर लिस्टेड जर्नल, इसमें क्या फर्क होता है? व्हिच इज बेस्ट मैडम, पेयर या केयर?
I will tell you. I will tell you. Research paper, whichever journal you go through, it is the best. But according to NAC, there is a difference between care. In NAC, care is only calculated, peer is not calculated. Peer means your research paper does not come in the list of UGC, but your peer is only the reviewer. But care means UGC selects some of the research papers, some of the research journal as the best research journals. They come under care research journal. Did you understand?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
And every year, care listed journal changes. So every time you have to look into the UGC website to find out whether the journal is a care listed journal or not.
यस मैडम। और इन दोनों में कौन सा अच्छा होता है, केयर या पेयर?
सर यूजीसी बोलता है केयर इज द बेस्ट, नैक बोलता है केयर इज द बेस्ट, बट आई फील केयर एंड पेयर बोथ आर द बेस्ट. बट केयर लिस्टेड क्या ना, जब भी नैक आता है आपका इंस्टीट्यूशन में, यू आर वर्किंग इन अ इंस्टीट्यूशन ना, यू आर वर्किंग इन
मैडम, मैं फैकल्टी हूं मैडम.
You are a faculty. So
madam.
When NAC will come, they will not consider peer listed journal. They will only consider care listed journal.
अच्छा मैडम. अभी और एक क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहता हूँ मैं.
एक मिनट
ये कोपस क्या होता है? कोपस इंडेक्स.
Sir, 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, 1 second. I'll just come back in 1 second. Yes, yes, yes. Tell me, sir. Sir, please tell me. Shaukat sir. Shaukat sir.
मैडम जी मैडम, हाँ ये
Yeah,
स्कोपस
बोलिए.
इंडेक्स क्या होता है मैडम? स्कोपस जर्नल,
स्कोपस
हाँ
जर्नल.
ये स्कोपस वाले क्या होते हैं?
नहीं,
स्कोपस,
स्कोपस भी और एक
हाँ,
तरीका का जर्नल होता है. वेब ऑफ साइंस, अभी ना बहुत तरीका का जर्नल आता है, वो स्कोपस जर्नल होता है. इंटरनेशनल जर्नल्स होता है स्कोपस जर्नल. वो और एक तरीका का जर्नल होता है जो वर्ल्ड वाइड उसका ये है, वर्ल्ड वाइड रिकॉग्निशन है, इसलिए इतना पैसा लेता है ना सर.
जी जी मैडम, जी
वेब ऑफ साइंस है, अभी ABCD है. ठीक है, आप पहले ना यूजीसी पीयर रिव्यू से चालू कीजिए, ISBN से चालू कीजिए. ठीक
यस
है
यस
सर.
या मैडम, या हमने लोकल से चालू किया, लोकल बोलते स्टेट लेवल जर्नल, कॉन्फ्रेंस,
चलेगा चलेगा
स्टेट लेवल
चलेगा
होगा,
चलेगा.
नेशनल लेवल.
हाँ
जी
हाँ
या
चलेगा सर. रिसर्च का ऐसा कुछ भी ये नहीं होता जो आपको स्कोपस में ही देगा तो आपका पेपर बहुत अच्छा है, ऐसा नहीं है. आप रिसर्च बराबर कीजिए, आपका सर्वे बराबर कीजिए, जैसे मैंने बोला है वो रिसर्च पेपर बराबर
हाँ,
लिखिए, आपका बेस्ट रिसर्च पेपर होगा.
या बिल्कुल 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 मैडम, बिल्कुल
यस.
बिल्कुल, यस यस यस, ओके, थैंक यू
Any
Good
मैडम.
more?
evening, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yeah, good evening, ma'am.
yeah. Tell
Ma'am,
me.
ma'am, am I audible?
You are audible.
Okay, okay. Ma'am, it was wonderful session. It's just I have one query. It's just little bit out of the context, but in parallel with the topic, if you don't mind. Um, Ma'am, what is your opinion? Like, how can or are there any specific strategies or ways how to identify predatory journals? Like,
No. Yeah, I tell you.
yes.
Now, generally, no, what I do is that now sometimes, no, when you write from a research paper, if they ask for research journals, no, journals, you get mails at odd hours. When you get mails at odd hours, no, then it is a fake journal.
Ma'am, let me tell you one thing. Like, yes, I do understand. Let's say if we get mail during odd hours, we can identify that yes, this is a fake journal or a predatory journal. But let me tell you, ma'am, I have came across certain journals where some of my colleagues they have went on and they have posted, and later on we identified that it was a completely a predatory journal. And like unlike the traditional ways like you cited, like getting odd mails and
Huh.
getting unnecessary modification and changes which are not justified, so those were not in their parallel things
And the
later
main
on.
thing is that you have to go through their websites again and again to check that whether
Ma'am,
it is an academic publishing body or not.
Ma'am, even I'm telling you, ma'am, even that is also a fake one. How to identify that whether the website is also a fake? Why I'm telling you, ma'am, let me ask you, ma'am, with all due respect, because we have came across these all things, and I'm trying to find out like how is there any specific thumb rule?
The
So why I'm saying,
thumb rule is that the rejection rate of the predatory journals are very low. In fact, they're zero.
okay,
The rejection
okay.
rates are very low, because they are open access, no?
No, ma'am,
Huh.
there is also paid. While I'll tell you, ma'am, let me tell you a recent case which has happened with one of my colleague. Ma'am, have you came across a journal that is Saybold Report? It's one of the international journals.
Okay.
You can Google it, ma'am. Saybold Report, right? Okay, and the first link that would point
And moreover,
out.
no, in a predatory journal, you will not receive any citations.
No, ma'am, I'm telling you, that is what I'm trying to point out. You will get citations, ma'am. You will get citations. Why I'm saying you, ma'am, there's a journal, international journal, Saybold Report, right? You can Google it after the session ends. The first link that would point out before you is the Saybold report.org. The link is .org, and if you go to that link, it's one of the fantastic websites that you will ever come across, yes, as far as my knowledge goes. and you will see there are different people they have published and all these things. But Saybold ke naam se na madam ek aur website hai which claims that this particular website sayboldreport.org को उन्होंने ban किया हुआ है US में.
Okay, so you have to, that's what I'm saying. So that is what you have to search and research, about when you're publishing in a journal. But mainly now, when they give out, even the reviewers, you can contact them. Reviewer list.
Ma'am, that is what I'm asking you. My query comes to the point is, and let's say we did a research and we didn't find anything. Let's say after 1 month and 2 months, we found out that yes, it is a fake journal. So problem ho jayega na ma'am. That's where we fall prey to it.
Yeah, so what you have to do, when you are trying to publish for a research paper in a journal, you will be getting the reviewer list. So you can always contact, because in a fake journal, reviewer lists are incomplete. They will not give their email ID. They are supposed to give their positions and email IDs. Na?
Acha, okay.
So you can always write to them and understand, because in fake journals, generally, the reviewers, they don't have this, the full details are not given. But the original journals where always the full details are given.
Okay.
Always.
So that means selection of journals and then publishing in the right journal. It takes a lot of time.
It takes a lot of time.
So that means, ma'am, one of the conferences I had attended of IIM Lucknow, one of the professors said that the publication processes, that's the reason why good faculties have very less number of articles in good journals.
Yes.
So that's the reason.
Like even in Scopus, you see nowadays they're charging like anything. Quarter B, quarter C, how much they're charging? Then they must be all fake journals, and you will find the reviewers lists are all incomplete.
Okay. So that means even if we have, let's say, 2 Scopus Index journals, that would be more than enough.
That will be more than enough. That is why that if you want to become a professor, they're asking for only 10 publications all through your lifetime. They must have thought of something, no?
Okay. But
nowadays it is only 110 points. It is only 110 points for an academic professorship. Or if you want to become a principal, it is 110 points. Why? Because of all this, no?
Okay.
For ISBN and all, now you don't have any fake business.
Ma'am, that is open-ended completely.
That is open-ended.
That is open-ended. Ma'am,
And
things which are open-ended,
nowadays off the records, all this has become a business. These
very correct, ma'am. Needless to say, that a point that you have pointed out, I wanted to say it in an open forum, but you are being a trainer, you have pointed out that.
Yeah, it is a business.
It is a business, and actually, ma'am, the academic pressure is on the faculties to go on for publications. So we don't have any other options.
No. But for UGC-CARE, it becomes very easy. You can easily go to the UGC website and check whether
but UGC is having more number of cloned journals.
I know there are so many clone journals there. I know that
as
is
far
the
as ABDC में बहुत ही कम है, madam. ABDC में बहुत ही कम है.
I find out from the reviewers. I write a mail to a reviewer whether you are a reviewer of so-and-so journal, so-and-so thing or not. So if they are quite serious about it, they will reply you back. And many don't also.
Okay.
And many don't also.
So, we can zero down to one thing of this discussion. Important rather than writing a research paper is finding out that the authenticity of the research.
Authenticity. Because, take for example, Springer. If you see Springer, how many times they will ask you for a change. That is the example of a true journal. They will give you the reviewers, every detailed reviewer. A reviewer is in contact with you that why so-and-so changes are done in a Springer journal. So you can understand, that this must be a true one. So Springer is a well-known one. Every academician knows about it.
Springer, Elsevier, Tandorf Online, these doesn't need any explanation.
No, but I just took an example.
Right. Very correct, ma'am. I do accept it. But things which are off the record but still doesn't comes to the limelight has to be addressed.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thanks for your great
Yeah.
insights,
From
ma'am.
where are you coming from? From where are you coming from?
Ma'am, I'm from Bhubaneswar, Odisha.
Oh, you are from Bhubaneswar. Okay.
Right. Thank
Any
you so
more
much, ma'am, for your
questions? Thank
insights.
you.
Thank
Nice
you.
talking to you. Nice talking.
Nice talking to you, ma'am. Thank you. Same here.
Yeah. Any more questions? I think there are no more questions. Thank you.
मैडम मैं दो क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहता हूँ। बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सिंपल है। पहला क्वेश्चन है, मुझे कल एक जनों ने यही प्लेटफॉर्म में क्या RFI के प्लेटफॉर्म पे एक लेक्चरर ने ऐसे बताया हमें कि उन्होंने 2 लाख रुपए दिए एक उनका पेपर पब्लिश करने के लिए। इतने 2 लाख रुपए लेते हैं पेपर पब्लिश करने के लिए मैडम?
No comments, like but good journals
उन्होंने बताया क्या? उन्होंने बोले कि मैंने खुद 2 लाख रुपए दिए मेरा एक पेपर पब्लिश करने के लिए। तो है इतनी फी होती है?
पता नहीं। Original journals will never charge you, sir. इतना।
या अभी दूसरा क्वेश्चन मैं ये पूछना चाहता हूँ। मैं जोग्राफर हूँ मैडम। हमने बहुत अच्छी ये जो कॉन्टिनेंटल ड्रिफ्ट होंगी या
मेरा भी प्राइमरी सब्जेक्ट ज्योग्राफी है।
शुक्रिया मैडम। मैं एक क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहता है कि ये जो बेसिक ज्योग्राफी है बोले तो कॉन्टिनेंटल ड्रिफ्ट होगा, क्लाइमेटिक चेंज होगा या जियोलॉजिकल इवेंट होंगे, ये तब नेचर नाम के एक जर्नल में उनके आर्टिकल छपे थे, नेचर नाम का। अभी ये नेचर नाम का जो जर्नल है इसमें हम कैसे पार्टिसिपेट होंगे? मान लो मुझे कुछ पेपर पब्लिश करना होगा, वो मेरा पब्लिश करो। अच्छा, नेट कर दीजिए।
हाँ, मेल कीजिए।
अच्छा, मुझे अरमान इस बात की है, मेरा वो ले या ना ले, बट आई मस्ट बी ट्राई, मुझे वहां तक ट्राई करना है मैडम।
You write a mail to them. If they're academicians, they will reply back to you, sir.
जी बिल्कुल। ओके
ठीक है। I wish you all the best. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, madam.
Okay then. Yes.
Ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was such an insightful session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, I got one more question, I think. Yes, please. बोलिए।
Manoj Kumar, sir, you want to ask something? You raise your hand. Manoj Kumar, sir.
No, गलती से हो गया होगा।
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
so
thank
can
you.
we conclude, ma'am?
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. So it's time to conclude these insightful sessions. Prior to that, we extend a heartfelt acknowledgement to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Maushmi Datta, ma'am. We are grateful to you for giving your invaluable time and delivering a wonderful session. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to every participant. I also extend our sincere gratitude to the organizing committee and its sponsors for making this program possible. With profound gratitude for everyone's participation, we officially conclude today's session. Your contributions have been immensely valued. Thank you so much.
Excuse me, ma'am. Neha, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, we are left with one more session tomorrow, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And
tomorrow will be concluding session.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.